Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about the match between Osasuna and FC Barcelona. Barcelona have lost to Osasuna 4-2 away from home. For Osasuna, they had Budimir, who scored 2 goals, Zaragoza, who also scored, and then they had Bretons, who scored the last goal for them. As for FC Barcelona, Pau Victor scored the first goal after a huge mistake from the goalkeeper, and then we had Lamine Yamal scoring a rocket into the top right corner. This was a match where I would say it is going to be testing many Barcelona fans, and I am going to be explaining what I do mean by this. First things first, I know that this loss does hurt. I know that we all expected for Barcelona to win against Osasuna because of our amazing 7-game win streak. We all knew that. Barcelona's going to come in with a lot of conviction, eagerness to win against Osasuna, but we did fall to Osasuna 4-2. It is the first loss for Hansi Flick's Barcelona this season. And of course in La Liga, because we already lost to Monaco not too long ago. But here's going to be the main reason why I believe this is a bigger test for the Barcelona fans. Because Hansi Flick lost against Osasuna, right? Because his players failed to do whatever they needed to do against this team. Does this mean that we should start a campaign where it should say Hansi Flick out? Should we start hating on these group of players? Because if we do, after one loss, after playing 7 matches where we won in La Liga, if we do, we are going to be repeating the exact same thing we did with Xavi Hernandez. Xavi Hernandez had to deal with so many things last season and in the past 2 seasons with Barcelona because of the defense, because of injuries, just a bunch of problems that Barcelona had. Financial problems, the lack of signings. Hansi Flick is dealing with the exact same thing because of injuries, because of player unavailability, etc. And when Xavi Hernandez was coaching these players, every time there was either a tie or a loss, they crucified Xavi Hernandez and they said Xavi Hernandez is not good enough, these players are not good enough, this team is trash, I never want to see this player again, I never want to see that player again. Are we going to say the exact same thing this season with Hansi Flick and with these players? With Sergi Dominguez, with Gerard Martin, with Pedri, Eric Garcia, Ferran Torres, all of these players who started against Osasuna, are we going to be bashing on Hansi Flick and the players? Because if that is going to be the whole idea coming from the Barcelona fan base, there is no reason for that. It does not give out a win to anybody. No one wins in this situation. We cannot continue to go in this way. Just because a coach and its players failed to do a certain thing in one match does not mean that we have to start a whole campaign, okay? Like, I already see a lot of people saying that Gerard Martin is trash, Sergi Dominguez should not be playing for Barcelona, Eric Garcia is not good enough to play as a double pivot, Pablo Torre did not do anything, Lewandowski did not do anything, Ferran Torres is trash, Hansi Flick got his tactics incorrect, he rotated too much. I already see too many comments about that, and that's not good. That is not the way. You only harm FC Barcelona. I have said this before a few videos ago, that remember, just because Barcelona is playing very well does not mean that they're not allowed to make mistakes later down the season, because we will see games where Rafinha might fail, where Pablo Torre might fail, where the defense might fail, where Peña might fail. We might see that, and we cannot be so reactionary. We cannot just switch up on Barcelona just like that. No, we have to continue to support this team because we have already made that mistake with Xavi Hernandez. We need to give Hansi Flick and the players some time to gel, because to win against Osasuna, right, at their stadium, it's hard to grab out a win when you have Gerard Martin on the left back position, Sergi Dominguez as a center back with Kobarsi, right, 2 very young center backs, and then you have Eric Garcia, who is mostly playing out of position. You have Ferran Torres on the right wing position, who does not even play regularly. Pablo Torre, very inexperienced. Pau Victor hasn't really played at all. We had to rotate in this game. I understand why many might be a little frustrated because we did not come in with our main players, which is Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, Balde on the left back position. I understand that. I understand even with Inigo Martinez not being there. I understand that we needed those players, but we needed rotation because we have been playing every 2 to 3 days. And this goes into like another conversation. This is the reason, my friends, why I always opt for Barcelona to be signing world-class players. When I say somebody like Musiala, for example, and I want him to come to Barcelona, many say, Kevin, we don't need another left winger or central attacking midfielder. That's not possible. I mean, like, look at what happened here. You see why it is so important. You see why it is so important for us to have quality depth. I would like to have Rafinha as the backup to Musiala on the left wing position. I would like to have Pedri, Olmo, and Fermin Lopez as our options for the central attacking midfield position. I would like to have Bernardo Silva behind Lamine Yamal for the right wing position. I would like to have whoever is good in the striker position with Lewandowski, right? I would like to have that. We need options. We need better depth, right? Like many do say, like, no, Kevin, if we sign Musiala, Rafinha is not going to be getting any playing time. I mean, like, look, this is what I mean. We have to get used to the fact that if we drop a player like Rafinha or Lamine Yamal, there's going to be a world-class player coming in to replace him. We have to get comfortable with that. We can't just say, but what about the minutes of Yamal? What about the minutes of Pedri? What about the minutes of Olmo? There is enough minutes for everybody. Unfortunately for Hansi Flick, the backup that he does have right now is Gerard Martin. It is Sergi Dominguez. It is Eric Garcia, who plays in the double pivot position. It is Ferran Torres, who was the only player that can come in for Lamine Yamal because Lamine Yamal needed rest. We have enough another game in 2 or 3 days, which is on Tuesday. Like, you're really gonna tell me that the only player that we have that is the backup to Lamine Yamal is Ferran Torres? Really? And you're gonna tell me that with Dani Olmo injured, the only real player that we have right now that can come in the central attacking midfield position is Pablo Torre? That is the only player that you guys have available? Really? This is why I say, like, we need more signings. We need more players. The sooner we can get to that position, the better. There will be enough minutes for everybody. This team that we have assembled today against Osasuna was our C team, my friends. It was a C team, and Hansi Flick had no other choice. Like, what was he going to do? Continue to play Rafinha and Lamine Yamal and Balde and Inigo Martinez, or force Frankie de Jong and Gavi to come back? He couldn't do anything. And fortunately for Osasuna, they came in and they saw Barcelona in a tired state. They probably knew that many of the players had to get rotated, and that is why we saw their players, like, for example, Garcia and Areso and Ibanez, the players who played on the right flank of their team. They were overpowering Gerard Martin, over-testing Gerard Martin over and over again, because they knew that Barcelona's weak link was on our left side with Gerard Martin. Gerard Martin played a horrible game, right? He's 22 years old. He's not really considered as a La Masia player, but it was a horrible game. I would say, right, that, you know, I don't believe that he is good enough to reach top level for Barcelona's left back position, but it does not mean that we have to bash on the player right now. It's not healthy because we're in the middle of the season, right? Because if Balde ever does get injured within these next 2 or 3 games that we do play, the one player that is going to be backing us up is Gerard Martin. So there is no point for any of us to be saying Gerard Martin is not good enough, he's trash, we need to start a campaign. No, we just have to continue to support the player until this season is over, because we have no other choice. And, you know, I'm going to be honest, right? He played a horrible game. He lost every duel. If you look at his stats, go look at his stats. I don't know if you guys use FootMob or SofaScore, but the amount of tackles that he won was 0. It was 0. And he only made 2 recoveries. So this is, like, not good at all. And Osasuna's main game plan was to basically destroy Gerard Martin, go down the right flank, make those crosses, and have players like Budimir or Oroz, right, one of the players from Osasuna, to run into the box and find the goals. That is how they wanted to tackle Barcelona, and it worked. And then you had Sergi Dominguez, who was also responsible to be blocking the strikers of Osasuna, which was Budimir and Oroz. And Sergi Dominguez did not really do much. He could not really defend himself. He made so many mistakes. It all started with Kubarsi failing to make that aerial duel in the first goal of Osasuna. Like, he could not defend that cross, and I'm like, dude, are you serious? Like, there was so much lack of communication between Sergi Dominguez and Kubarsi, and I'm like, this is only the beginning of what we're going to be seeing for the next 90 minutes. And so again, Osasuna saw that as a weak link. That is why they continue to play the exact same way. Make a pass down the right flank, Gerard Martin gets destroyed, make a cross into the box, and then you're probably going to find your goal, because Sergio Dominguez could not defend for his life. He could not do that. Go back to FootMob or SofaScore and go look at his stats. The total tackles that he won against Osasuna was 0. 0. Almost the exact same type of stat of Gerard Martin. Our defense was so weak, and I can't believe it. I'm like, bro, like, you know, I have no words to explain, like, why these players at least could not be just concentrated for this match at the very least. I understand that you can make a mistake here and there because they're players at the end of the day, right? You make mistakes, but making mistakes over and over again, and when you start to understand what Osasuna is trying to do to you, why can you just anticipate the exact same play that Osasuna were doing, so you can have a better chance of defending any cross? And Sergio Dominguez just kept getting caught, but Gerard Martin kept getting caught, and I don't know. I simply just do not know. The only solution towards this right now is for us to have our best starting 11 and having all of our players back, because right now our B to C team is not good enough, right? The only way that we could win with our B or C team is if the opposition does not feel like they could win themselves. Osasuna believed, and they came in with everything, and they came in with a great game plan. But right now, just for now, the B to C team is not good enough. They can get trained to get better, but we don't know when. We just don't know when. And once again, let's not have these comments where it says Gerard Martin is trash, I never want to see this player again, I never want to see Sergio Dominguez again, I never want to see Ferran Torres again. It does not do good for anybody. Not you, not the players, not Barcelona, the club that you love the most, to nobody. So this is the first test. Are we going to bash our players and bash Hansi Flick immediately after the first loss in La Liga, or are we going to continue to be consistent through our support and how we view Barcelona? Let's be consistent. This team still has a lot to give. It requires patience. Many players are coming back, like Gavi, Frankie de Jong, Araujo, Christensen. It is going to be taking some time, but it is what it is for now. Now our next match is going to be against Young Boys, and Barcelona is going to be hosting that match. I'm pretty sure that because this is going to be our second to last game before we do head towards international break, Hansi Flick will come in and say, you know what, I tried rotating some of my players. They're not trained. We have seen the true selves of these players, right? We know how they actually do play under pressure. But for the next 2 matches against Young Boys and Alaves, I'm going to be starting my best possible 11, no matter what. Rafinha, Yamal, Balde, they will be there. When Inigo Martinez is available, we are going to be putting that player in no matter what for Sergi Dominguez, because they are not ready. They're not ready for now. Of course, they can always improve throughout these next couple of weeks from a mental standpoint, a physical standpoint, but for now, they're not ready. And we have a lot of important games that are coming up. So the moment we have all of our players back, the better. But goddamn, man, like I hope that these players do upgrade themselves because we need them. We need them. I'm pretty sure that Hansi Flick is going to be saying no excuses. These players did not do good enough, and we're going to train even harder tomorrow, because that is how Barcelona should be approaching defeat. When you make mistakes, when you know that you did not play well in the previous game, you go into the next training session and you train harder than ever before. Sergi Dominguez needs some work. Gerard Martin needs some work. Ferran Torres definitely needs some work. To see Barcelona in the first half have 0 shots on target is embarrassing. It is embarrassing. We had, as a matter of fact, no shots at all in the first 45 minutes. Like, go look at the stats. Barcelona had 0 shots and Osasuna had everything, and that's not good. And so congratulations to Osasuna. They approached Barcelona correctly. They came in with a fighting spirit. It's their first win against Barcelona since July 16th, 2020, where Osasuna won 2-1. And after 3 matches of Ansu Fati being available, he has yet to be used. Like, Ferran Torres actually gets the call up before Ansu Fati, which is crazy. Ansu Fati was actually supposed to play in this game and come in for Ferran Torres on the striker position, but because one of our players got injured, Hector Fort had to come in and we had to use our last sub with him, and Ansu Fati no longer could have played in this match against Osasuna. And so that is it. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.